The coaches are in. When you need a timely, transparent friend, tune into the coaches are in. Talking career, business, health, and wealth. You got a friend now. Into the coaches are in. With authenticity, come on, let's take a seat and tune in.
Well, hello there.
Well, hello there. Welcome back, Dr. Malika.
Thank you. I missed y'all.
We missed you too. We're just a little bit jealous, but that's okay.
I tried to bring some sand back, but I couldn't get it through the, digital airwaves.
Right. All right, so welcome everyone. Happy Monday. This is the Coaches Are In, and tonight we are talking about how to navigate career transition during turbulent times. So whether you have been laid off, experienced a permanent loss of your role, or maybe your business has been impacted, we'll be talking with our special guest this evening to get you the strategies you need to bounce back after a career setback. So we are excited about this episode.
Love it.
Yes. I love it. And it's needed. It's so needed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You might be thinking about something. It might not have happened yet, but maybe you're thinking about it. So this will be a great place to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So before we bring our special guest up and dive into that conversation, just want to quickly introduce ourselves in case you don't know who we are. I'm Dr. Sharita Weatherspoon. I am an operations strategist and alignment coach and the creator of The Coaches Are In. And I help Black women launch, grow, and scale expert and service-based businesses that not only make an impact, but make them some money.
That's good.
Yes. And I am Allison Garrett. I'm your behavioral interventionist, and I work with women who struggle to identify what has them stuck and help them break free without years of therapy.
And I'm Dr. Malika, and I'm your confidence coach, and I'm going to help you show up as your best self and display the greatness that's in you and do it with confidence.
Every single time.
Yes. And we are The Coaches Are In. All right. Now, so our guest this evening is none other than the illustrious Joyce Dungee Proctor, who is a powerhouse career coach, a corporate veteran, and a cancer survivor. That is part of her bounce back story. And she is the queen of career strategy. So from six-figure layoffs to life-threatening diagnoses, Joyce has learned how to bounce back. And now she helps others do the same. And in case you didn't know, she was one of the original The Coaches Are in our first season of the show. So we're excited to have her back with us this evening. So let's get Joyce back here.
Yay!
Yay! I'm excited to be here. Oh my! I'm so excited.
Yes. Yeah. So we are really glad to have you back here. I know we talked about it a couple of times. And now's the time.
Now it's here. Perfect timing.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and dive in. Who has the first question?
Who has the first question? Because please, God,
come on, give it to me. Bring it to me.
Hold on, let me see, y'all. Is it me? Of course it is. Hold on, let me get it together. So, just once again, glad to have you back, Joyce. Can't wait to hear what you're going to share with us. And know you've walked through some layoffs and a cancer diagnosis and just reinvention. So what does bounce back mean to you now, today? What does it mean to you?
So, well, first of all, hi, and thank you all. I'm so excited to be here. When I originally got the text to join, I couldn't wait. And
Neither could we.
Really couldn't wait. But anyway, so the question is, what does bounce back mean to me? And bounce back for me is when you're met with adversity, just in life in general, no matter what it is, you have a choice. You have a choice to give up, or you have a choice to bounce back. And bouncing back does not mean that you don't go through the process, because you're not just going to bounce back. It's a process that you have to go through in order to get there. For me, it means not giving up, not staying in a place that doesn't feel really good, but dealing with it, managing it, getting the support and help that I need in order to bounce back.
That's good.
That's what it means to me. It's not just like, oh, you got to bounce back, because that's not realistic.
Right. Yeah.
You need
glad
help,
you said that.
right?
Yeah.
Tools, right?
Sure.
And resources.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that it's not automatic, because I think that could be a misconception, is when things happen and you're supposed to have this faith, there's this idea that it's just supposed to happen immediately, right? So thinking about that, when you first got the call about your job being eliminated, what was your first thought, and how would you say your faith guided you through it?
My first, this is easy. My first thought was my family. That was my first thought, because I was 50 years old. My son was graduating from high school on his way to college. And I'm thinking, wow, at the prime time in my life, this is happening. And so that was my first thought, what's going to happen next? But I very quickly shifted to the people that I know in my network. I mean, immediately, like I really went from my family, oh my goodness, to who do I know?
Yeah, that's good. Resources.
Yeah, I mean, immediately. I'm not even, because keep in mind, most people that are impacted by any type of layoff, it's not normally a surprise. There's sometimes a sign, and up until the point that I was laid off, I was laying off people.
Right.
So I knew it was coming. But, even though it's coming, it still doesn't feel good. You still have to
that's the truth.
mourn it. It was like a divorce. It was
Yeah.
like a divorce.
Yeah.
It was a huge disruption. And so I had to mourn and go through all of that. But first thought, my family. Second thought, who do I know?
Wow. And then faith. How did you kick your faith into gear?
My faith, let me tell you something. My faith is always in gear, and it carried me. It carried me, because what happens is that you start to question everything. Myself, I said, why me? But more importantly, why now? Why now? And again, for me, I thought up until that moment, that was the prime time. That's what I thought. And I'm thinking, why now? My son's, got to go to college. We've got a lot of different things going on.
Yeah.
We know that life is going to happen. But I can honestly tell you, where I sit today, I'm thankful that it did happen.
Yeah. Ooh.
When I was I didn't feel that way.
I'm sorry. May I ask a question? How long did it take you to appreciate this move from the time it started until now?
I was 50 when I received my pink slip. I was 54 when I was diagnosed with cancer. So the pink slip didn't seem so bad when I started to fight for my life.
Wow.
Okay.
That's good.
That's different. Okay, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. And when I look back over my life, because I really listened to my life, and I started thinking, had I still been in that role, operating in that capacity, what would my life look like now? Versus what it actually does look like. And so I can officially say I'm thankful that it happened now, based on where I sit. I get the opportunity to still work somewhere, but also work my business and help others through the training. And that's legacy. You can't put a price tag
Yes.
on that. That is legacy.
That's
That's
good.
good.
That's good. So
Mhm.
as we kind of we're talking about, very concisely kind of what happened in that gap between the pink slip and today. But what made you decide to turn that experience into a new career slash business, helping other people to navigate planned and unplanned career transitions?
I started Seminars by Joyce to Total You in 2005, even though I had been doing the motivational speaking and all of those things prior to that. But I formalized the company in 2005. Captivating Career was as a result of my testimony. It came later. That's the coaching entity.
Mhm.
That's a part of my story. That's a part of my pain. So I gave birth to that business out of my pain.
Mm.
And a part of my healing was to help others through the pain and through their transition. And not only just help them from a standpoint of a career coach, but to also provide them with resources. I had worked in staffing and recruiting for years. I've placed so many people out to work, or the teams that I've worked with, have placed people out to work. When I said to you all earlier that I made that call, I made a call to someone that was in my network. And at that time, they were getting ready to launch a career coaching entity. And they needed a managing director. So I went from very quickly being downsized to securing employment in career transition. Y'all got to listen to what I'm saying here. So it happened to me so I would be able to help others. But not only that, I was put in a capacity, in a role, working with a career transition company to help others. When I left, I continued that work.
Wow.
That's good.
Come on,
Yeah, so it's like I'm sitting here like I'm captivated by your story. I'm like, you talk about captivating a career. I'm like, I am with you.
I'm like, steps are ordered.
I am feeling
come
it.
on, say it. Steps are
Absolutely.
ordered.
Steps ordered.
Yeah. I sent an email when I got the message to this person, and it was like on a Thursday, and I didn't hear back. And I was like, oh my goodness, they didn't call me back, because I was panicked. I'm just going to keep it real. I was panicked. And I didn't get a call back, and I didn't get the call until that Tuesday. And he said to me, what time can you get here today? He said, I'm launching a new career coaching entity within my staffing company, and I have an opening, and I'd like to talk to you about it. I mean,
You like, duh.
I'm telling you,
Be there in 5 minutes.
Right?
Yes.
it's the timing, and then to be able to participate and to be a part of putting so many people out to work, but more importantly, being there as a sounding board and a resource to help them through that time. Because statistics will tell you that the more you make, sometimes the longer the job search, and especially around 2009 and 10, when we were going through that transition, right? And I still have people today that are still thanking me and sharing their story and their testimony as a result of that encounter. Had I not received my pink slip, it would have never happened.
Right.
Not with me.
Yeah.
Right? I would not have been able to give them what I gave them.
I know that's right. Now, when we look at it, we look at all that, right? Like we have this understanding that, like you were ready, right? You were prepared. Your faith carried you. And then we also look at like so many Black women as being high achievers. They still feel stuck or they feel unseen at work, right? Like someone noticed you to even give you that opportunity. What would be your advice to them?
So for me, it was relationships. And I always say relationships matter. And you want to establish relationships when you're working, because a lot of times when you're trying to establish relationships when you're in transitions, it's a little bit harder, more challenging. So what I say to that person is that, number one, you want to consistently think about building relationships with individuals, period. And it's not just anyone. It's not just anyone. It's being strategic about it. And it's not using networking as, just a way to kind of get out and hang out. It's
Right.
really doing it strategically. And so
Intentional,
what do I
yeah.
mean by that? What do I mean by that? So let's say you were planning to go to a particular event, and we all know that our time is so like priceless and we can't get it back. So you want to spend it wisely. If you had 6 events that you were planning to go to, this is what I would recommend, or considering going to. You're going to look at each event based on, number one, what you can give, but also what your goals are. Because anything that we do is giving and receiving. It's not just receiving, right? That relationship building is a two-way thing. So I'm looking at, if I'm going to a networking event, I'm going to look at, if I can get the list, I'm going to look at who's going to be there, the companies that are going to be represented, because I'm going to be strategic about going around building relationships. So that's not something you can wake up and just do.
Right.
You've got to go inward. And the number one thing you want to do, and you all know I always say this, is to know thyself first. So you want to know what your goals are, right? You want to know what your plans are. You want to know who you want to build a relationship with, or at least the particular industry that you would like to build a relationship with someone in. You might not know the exact individual, right? But if you're looking to work in banking, then you're going to look for banking events. You know, right?
Right.
I'm trying to give like a little bit, but Allison, I'm going to back up. You said I was ready, but I was not ready.
Okay.
I was not ready. I knew it was coming, but I was paralyzed with fear, and I didn't prepare, because preparation I would have been looking for a job. I would, out there.
Okay.
The relationships that I had established over the years. And so I was able to pick up the phone and call someone. But I had also sowed seeds into these relationships.
Okay, that part.
So
you didn't just call them and ask them for a favor.
No, networking and relationship building is more about giving than it is about receiving. And so that means you have to be intentional about it.
Yeah, so I know what I'd like to ask you, but I also feel like, because you said, I wrote it down, you said, I knew, but I wasn't ready. So when we think about preparing for a layoff, let me ask you this. If you know there are signs that something's happening, right? How should we prepare for the layoff if we are astute? We're kind of sensing, sometimes there's intuition, sometimes you're privy to information, sometimes, how do you prepare for the layoff, or how do you pivot after?
So preparation is this, and this is what I thought about after the storm, when the rainbow came out, even what I could have done differently. And what I could have done differently, and what I recommend to all my clients to do, is to prepare their self-marketing portfolio. And what happens is when someone's laid off, or someone's working in worry, experiencing any type of career transition, the first thing they do is they go to their resume. That's like the 10th tool in my self-marketing toolkit.
Okay.
That's the
Okay.
that you
That's
go
interesting.
to. And let me tell you why. And this is what I recommend. This is just from the desk of Joyce Dungee Proctor. Do what you please.
I love
We're
the
here-
little
we're
memo.
here
I
at
can
the
see the
desk.
memo. Desk up. Bullet number 1.
Typing.
The first thing you do is you prepare yourself. You prepare yourself. And we come right back again to knowing thyself first. And so what does that look like? You take a walk down memory lane and you start to create accomplishment stories. You've got to be prepared to introduce yourself. So I reference that as your positioning statement, the answer to tell me a little bit about yourself. And that's not your personal life. That's a very concise 30-second elevator speech.
Mhm.
And so you're preparing that. You're preparing several tools before you get to the resume. Another thing you
Mhm.
want to do is, you know what, if perfect world, where would you like to work? What industry would you like to work in? Right? I mean, I'm just saying, I'm not necessarily doing them in order, but I'm putting it out there for you. What skills, what transferable skills do you have?
Mhm.
What are your superpowers? What have you become
Mm,
for? What are you good at? You know,
Mhm.
becoming a great storyteller, telling the story of you,
Mhm.
preparing all of that so that when you get the call, you can ace the interview, right?
Mhm.
Versus leaving the first interview and feeling like I'm not prepared. I should have
Yeah.
answered it this way.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And
The
then
regret.
they regret. And when you get to that resume, when you get to the resume, you know, understanding now, we know AI can do all kinds of things, right? So
mm,
before you even look at the resume, you want to have a good look at the job description. There's a lot of keywords that are in the job description. You want to make sure those keywords are populated throughout your resume so that it picked up once it's posted out into that big black hole, right? They're going to scan it and they're going to scan it
yeah.
for keywords. So
Mhm.
you want to do your homework. And again, we panic. We grab the resume. We call someone sometimes and say, "Hey, do you know someone who can touch up the resume?" Or you just send it out.
Mhm.
You're going to get to there. You're going to get to that point. But prior to, stop and assess yourself.
Yeah.
Assess yourself, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Think about what you're most proud of.
Mm.
Mhm.
You want
That's
to leave
Mhm.
the interview knowing that you've done the best that you can. We're not perfect, but you want to prepare and
Mhm.
you want to plan.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, that's a great segue into the question that I want to ask. But before I ask it, I want to say that I think when you talk about that, like kind of pause so you can plan and prepare. I think it's also key to actually think about what you want your next step to be,
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
right? Don't just be like, okay, I'm just going to go and I'm going to shoot my resume out there to 300
To
different
every place.
trying to find
Yes.
a job. It
Mhm.
is an opportunity, although not one you were seeking, to actually think about what do I want to do in this next
Mhm.
chapter of my life? Because it may
Yeah.
not be the same thing you've been doing. But if you don't
That's it.
stop to think about it, you could just find
Mhm.
yourself kind of, moving in the same direction.
Mhm.
And then later actually finding that you're kind of dissatisfied with the path that you took rather than taking that opportunity, the space that opened up for you to actually kind of sit with yourself and think
Mhm.
about
Mhm.
who am I today? Who am I now?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's
Mhm.
important to me?
Well,
Yeah.
because you have
Yeah.
to figure out what drives you. Because maybe that
Come
first
on.
10 years, 20 years is because you had to pay some loans, you had to eat,
Mhm.
but now that you
Survive.
have the skills and the skill set, what are you, like you said, what are you good at? What is your passion? What are you, because that can take you, like you said, Dr. Sharita, on another path.
Hmm.
That's
Yes.
what make you. That's what makes you grateful for the experience. It's like thank God that that happened because now I'm doing what I really was meant to do or intended to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah. No,
Yes.
that was really good. I think that, like you said, sit on it, assess yourself. Maybe there's something that's different. I know for me, what I realized is that no matter where I'm at, no matter what I do, no matter
Mhm.
what my title is, I literally listed like all my titles in my career. I listed them, and this is the bottom line. Wherever I go, I'm going to show up. It's Joyce Dungee Proctor.
Yes.
I'm going to show up.
We
And
know that.
what I realize is that my product is people.
Mhm.
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 So rather I'm, working with people in a restaurant, staffing and recruiting, retail, coaching, my product is people.
Mhm.
That's the calling. That is my purpose. And I do it with emotional intelligence. And that's my love. That's my superpower.
Mhm.
And I know that. I know
Mhm.
that I can take sweeping a floor and glamorize it if I'm doing it.
That's
I
right.
can get
We
excited
know it. We know that's right.
I
Let me
can
tell you
get,
something. I'm picturing Joyce in some black shoes with a little
come
red
on.
sash and a cute little broom.
And don't forget that lip.
On
Don't forget the lip.
brand. Red
That's
lipstick
it.
is on brand.
I'm
Yes, I
telling
see
you.
it.
And that's the key. You have to know yourself. You have to know your
Mhm.
desires. And I didn't know it overnight. Through mentorship, drive by, coaching from others, listening to my life and looking back over my life in terms of what leaders have said to me. And then
Mhm.
I realized it and grabbed a hold of it. And I understood the power and
Mhm.
knowing what I was called to do and knowing my strengths and knowing what my brand became known for. It's wonderful. I'm telling you, it's a good feeling. I've had people say to me, "Oh my goodness, you were managing director and now you're doing such and such." And guess what I say? I'm the same person. I'm Joyce Dungee Proctor, no matter what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing about me, I love the work that I do. You better believe if
Mhm.
I'm somewhere, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. All right. So what is one important mindset shift that would help someone kind of move from this place of panic when they get the notification to a place of purpose to help manage them through that career transition?
The first thing I would do, or one of the things that I would recommend, and maybe not necessarily in this order, but you got to spend some time with yourself, make an appointment with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is to get the support that you need, because I got support, you know, even if it was having someone just to talk to that had gone through transition, someone who could relate to what had happened, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Or someone
Mhm.
who could encourage me. And I'm gonna be honest, someone who could remind me of who I was.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting emotional because when you go through that, you forget who you are.
Mhm.
Sometimes you forget the great work that you've done. And it's nice to call someone or be in a position to have someone in your circle that can remind you of the
Mhm.
greatness that you have. Because you are tapped on the shoulder doesn't
Mhm.
who you are. And don't allow that to diminish your light,
Mhm.
to
That's good.
continue to have hope and encouragement. And so, again, spending time with yourself, going back through um, great performance evaluations, speaking to people who knew you win, uh,
Mhm.
reminding yourself of your accomplishment stories. And that's why that's such a great exercise. I always say, well, what are you most proud of in your work? Again, what are your top accomplishments? Because that reminds you and that encourages you through that transition because you're going to get through it. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
good. That's
Mhm.
good. So, what are the three things that you would recommend? And I know you've talked a little bit about this, but what are some things you should do when you're navigating a major career shakeup? About two or three things that you think you would tell somebody right now if they were on here with us who had a career shakeup. What would you tell them today?
The first thing I would do is I would really have them to spend time in prayer. I really would. I would have them to spend some time with themselves and pick out a couple of scriptures that they can use to encourage them. I would have them to look at their skill set, to look at what they feel um, they can bring not only to another company, but the value that they bring as an individual.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
I want people to understand that when you work somewhere for 10 and 20 years, you don't just throw that away because the door closed.
Mm-hmm.
mhm,
That
mhm,
you use those transferable skills and to become a great storyteller so that you can present yourself and take a consultative approach and know that the interview is a two-way street, because you're not just getting a job, they're getting a great person that has those transferable skills, that can hit the ground running, that has the experience, that has the proof, that has already done it. You follow what I'm saying? Don't lose the picture of who you are because of the situation that you're in.
Yes, that's good. That's good for everything.
And get help. A mentor, a coach, someone that you can talk to, that you can, even if it's someone else that's in the job search, But this is the one thing that I'm going to say that I see that I wish that people would probably look at a little bit differently. And it's the first thing that they do is, again, they start putting the resume out, but they just don't stop. They panic. And then what that really does is it prolongs the job search. It doesn't shorten the job search. But look at your relationships first. Look at your relationships first. Also understand the value of a professional bio written in the third person about you. Because that's what you can use for networking. You don't want to use your resume for networking. Sometimes when you approach people and you're at an event, you're like, oh, I'm looking for a job. Here's a copy of my resume. No. Your professional bio speaks to your accomplishments. It
that's different.
What you've done, right? And it's a third person about you. So that's a great tool, and it's really great for networking. And again, you said just a couple of things. I hope I gave enough, but encouragement, support, preparation, planning, and just don't lose hope. And remember who you are and what you bring to the table.
Oh yes.
Yep, that's good.
Don't forget. Well, I know the viewers are waiting. They want to know more about Miss Joyce Dungee Proctor, how she shows up. So where can our audience connect with you, right? Where can they learn more about this ultimate career coaching method, and learn more about you and your books and all your secret sauce that you show up with?
Seminarsbyjoyce.com. Seminarsbyjoyce.com. Yes. Of course, I'm on all social media, but they can go to seminarsbyjoyce.com. I'm on TikTok. She didn't say that.
Yes, she is.
She is on TikTok.
Yes, she is. Because I'm one of those people that jumped off when they started, talking. The government got involved. Now you got to jump through hoops to get on. I'm like, But I remember Joyce being on there.
I'm on TikTok.
She made me do more. She made me do more TikToks.
Yeah, I know. She was very supportive.
Well, you know what I think about it? I believe that social media is a platform to reach the masses.
Yeah.
In terms of educating and sharing our gifts and talents.
Yes.
And it's a great tool to help others. And that's what I use it for.
I like that.
To help to encourage others.
That's true.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Yes, Joyce, thank you so much for joining us. We'll have to do this again. Definitely. So ladies tuning in, you know where you can find Joyce Seminars by Joyce.com and on TikTok.
Yes.
Social
media.
Instagram, Facebook, all of it.
Yes.
So if you are going through a career transition, or you suspect that you may be going through one soon, based on the signs, reach out, get some advice, get some mentoring, get some coaching to help you navigate this process. We know that it can be an emotional time. We know it can be stressful, but it's not something that you have to go through alone. And if you've been working somewhere for a number of years, you may not be ready for what the employment market is like today, and need help just navigating what the employment world is like right now. Definitely reach out and get that support. So Joyce, thank you.
Thank you.
And for those of you tuning in, thank you for joining us again. And we will be back again on Monday, June 16th for our next episode. And I wish I didn't make a note of what the topic is. I know it's good because they're always good.
Yeah. We're just going to leave it at that. It's good.
Yes, you can see it on our YouTube channel what the upcoming episodes are. So we will see you again at 8:00 live on Monday, June 16th. And with that, we are going to say good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
The coaches are in. When you need a timely, transparent friend, tune into the coaches are in. Talking career, business, health, and wealth. You've got a friend now into the coaches are in. With authenticity, come on.